We're live.
It's
real. It's happening. Welcome. Another episode of Go FUD Yourself, but it is our Friday special FUD with Frens.
That's right.
Super stoked today to be talking about AI-enabled trading, and AI on the blockchain. But Ciara's going to tell you a lot more details about that. What are we going into today?
Okay, well, first of all, we have a friend.
We do have a friend. It's weird.
We have Fungibles.
I am friend.
We don't have real friends. How you doing,
I am friend. What's up, guys?
You know when you were a kid and you had like imaginary friends or like pet rocks? I feel like that's kind of you, Fungi.
Yes, this is the world's most expensive pet rock.
Right?
Actually, just manifested Fungi into reality. So,
you know,
funny. Well,
should we do like a humble brag on the floor of this stuff, or just keep rolling?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Why are you here?
Yeah, what the heck? What? Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Well, you guys are fun.
Give everybody a quick blurb. Who you are, kind of what you've done, and why the hell you're an expert on this topic.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm an entrepreneur. Started a bunch of companies, tech-focused, mobile and SaaS have been the sort of the beginning of my career, and then AI, where I built one of the biggest AI platforms. You know, I'm not Doc, so I don't want to give me too much detail, but a very successful company in AI and Web2 in healthcare. And then bit in blockchain, mined Bitcoin in 13, traded like a crazy person in 17, 18. And then, you know, like everybody made a bunch, lost a bunch, came back in at a 2020 DeFi summer, was like, oh shit, we have DeFi? What is that? We have NFTs? What is that? Started buying NFTs in December. Both utility and art, became a big collector on Maker's Place, one of the big art collectors there, and just started building a name for myself because I had done well in Web2. So I was buying, well, I have an Ether Rock, I have a CryptoPunk, I was buying Bored Apes, you know, and I just made a lot of ruckus. Those were fun times, right? And I built my name on trading, you know, and calling charts and helping people make money that way. But I'm a builder at the end of the day, so I like building, and that's why I haven't been too active this cycle calling meme tokens in this crazy run. Honestly, JD, I missed out on so much capital just being focused on building and not trading. And that's, you know, that part's tough, but we're here to build something greater for the future, right?
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you. We're excited to have you here. Definitely a humble intro, but I think we'll get into it.
Super humble.
Ciara,
people already know who we are, but that's why today we're going to talk about AI trading. We're going to tell you what AI trading is, what you can use it for, why you would use it. Maybe we'll touch on the where you can use it. And then we're also going to talk about the news and why it is so hypey right now. JD, are you ready? Fungi, are you ready?
Let's go.
Ready.
Song never gets old. Never gets old.
It's a gem every time.
All right.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to be the blasé one and just lay out the definition of AI trading in crypto. And I'm going to do this, and then I want Fungi to weigh in and tell me if our chat GPT here is accurate. So when you're using AI trading in crypto, this is talking about the use of artificial intelligence algorithms and machine learning models to analyze market data, identify patterns, and execute trading strategies in the crypto market. The idea here is that it's designed to automate your trading processes, make data-driven decisions, and maybe improve the efficiency and profitability of trades, as well as keeping you safe from scams and maybe within regulation. Fungi, is that correct, or are we just AI for candlesticks?
No, that's definitely correct. I mean, I think the protecting downside is, in my mind, the most important, because look at the data on Solana. You've got 97% of all tokens launches like rug pulls or scams. And then on Solana, it's like 99%, you know, Pump Fund came out as kind of a new way to buy tokens. But all this to say, you really got to watch your money, and you got to understand what tokens to get into. And there's a bunch of different things you have to look for, from liquidity, locked, you know, the way the contract was written, the Telegram chat. I mean, there's so many different, let's call it data points, that AI is really good for that, to grab all those data points, do a quick assessment, and come back to you with like maybe a score that says, hey, this is safe, or this is, you still, at least you could buy it. You're not going to, all get rugged, but how you play the trade, of course, is going to be up to you. And then the trading bot itself, having AI to be able to make buys and sells kind of based upon maybe how the market is headed. So yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate assessment.
Okay, so I'm hearing that at the base level, it's market analysis. Looking at the market, you're getting somebody who's not quite so emotional to look at the market. Maybe they don't have the same bias towards token projects that we have, right?
Exactly.
Okay. JD, what about automated trading? Have you used much in terms of AI automated trading?
No, I haven't. I understand, obviously, the theory behind, enabling automated trading. I suppose depends how you define AI. It's kind of one of those definitions that we just blanket apply to seemingly anything that involves some version of computer computation all of a sudden, which I think is hilarious. But that being said, I mean, something as simple as AI trading bots that just execute buy and sell orders on certain criteria, effectively limit orders. So if we want to call a limit order AI, then fine. Go ahead, Fungi.
No, I'm sorry. I've just laughed.
I want to touch in on that because I think this is one of the misrepresentations of AI, is that we think that there's this like new AI culture, but realistically, it's the same technology that we've been using for quite some time. No,
it is.
I don't know. Didn't you build a trading bot 4 years ago, JD?
Yeah, and Fungi's had a bunch of bots over the years too, probably more than we've built actually. But I mean, yeah, I guess Fungi, that's maybe a good question for you. How do you feel about kind of the evolution of the definition of AI? I know it's a term that is used a lot in the venture circles, and people are getting excited about AI on the blockchain, et cetera, et cetera. But what does AI mean to you? How do you interpret AI?
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it in a few phases, right? So for many, they've been working on this. I mean, some of the first AI papers are in the 30s. I don't think people realize that, right? Because it's modeled after a human brain. So we know a lot about human psychology. So it just was a matter of like, how do you get a bunch of data in one place and then train AI to read the data and then predict the next word based upon the outcome? And we had what was called ML, or machine learning, for a long time. And that was like our faux AI. So we would just sort of train these sort of large data sets as best we could to infer different things, maybe based on the way somebody was speaking, we would know they're Spanish, their inflection, even if they were speaking English. That was all ML. And then really it wasn't until 2017 when Google it made the transformer, which I think is interesting because OpenAI has become the big guy. Google was behind, but yet Google made this. And then part of what you get to have as a PhD scientist working at these companies is you get to publish your work. So they published it, probably shouldn't have. They did. Transformer got out there. OpenAI got it. We know that story. Being an AI guy, again, that's I kind of laugh by the term because we were doing a lot of ML when I built my AI company in healthcare that did really well, but it wasn't GPT-4. When that came out, which will be 2 years this November, now you have the transformer behind it, but then you have just a completely game change with GPT-4. So we're now on track to, let's say, have AGI, I think, which is artificial general intelligence. I thought it was going to be more like 2029, but I think it's going to maybe be the next year, the year after. That's what Elon's saying. There's a bunch of indicators that that's possible. And that just means it's as smart as any human. It's not super intelligence yet. Maybe that's 2030. But I think AI today, and kind of what you were saying, Kira, I was going to say, it's not Kira, it's Ceara. JD, help me out here.
Kiara.
It's a hard C. Just roll with it. It's okay.
I said it like 9 times. I knew I was going to mess it up somehow. Okay.
That's okay.
It's a pretty.
We can always count on you to screw shit up. Don't worry.
Oh, that's very true. So, but kind of what you were saying, it's like people they're using stuff in the background. It might be a lot of it's AI, but they don't even realize it. So now, where does this go with blockchain? And why did I come out of retirement? Being in blockchain when I saw GPT-4, it's because of the beauty of what you can do with automation, with AI and agents that could affect, and the blockchain with the distribution of money to anybody in the world instantly and cheap. You've got a mechanism to automate the distribution of money anywhere cheaply. Like that's the power we're talking about. We're we're at an interesting point where AI is expensive to train and to use, and there's not many companies out there that have sort of the big enough systems, the big enough cloud networks of these decentralized or of this AI compute to be able to really, take things to the next level with artificial general intelligence. But we're getting there, and you see that with NVIDIA building the chips and stuff.
So what was the big shift, Fungi, you think, that enabled, like, I guess the transformers obviously and the chips evolving were obviously a big piece, but these models, the data models are large LLMs are crazy. Like they're crazy huge. Some of them, especially the one that GPT is using, or Gemini for Google, like they have access to some of the richest stores of data possible, really, the entire.
So they're creating what's called synthetic data to train on synthetic data. And now what they're doing is they're getting agents to transfer learn, but essentially instead of humans checking work, they'll have an AI check the work, and now you've got two AIs working together. So it's compounding exponentially, and it's going faster and faster in terms of, yes, it needs the chips. We need those NVIDIA chips and lots of them. It's why you saw Zuckerberg spend 10 billion. It's why you see Elon Musk spending 6 billion. They're trying to, there's a race, right, to get that compute. And there's a race to, create data, and there's a race to get these agents to be able to train themselves. But it's an interesting time, because if you look at the cost of training data, it's about $2 million to train an LLM. That cost is coming down, to like $600. But again, it doesn't mean you're going to get a really effective LLM. It could be just it's not like the whole world's information, right? That's like insane. It's billions of dollars to do that. That's why OpenAI raised what, 100 billion, or was it $1 trillion that he was raising, and they were going to put 100 billion into GPUs? It's just crazy.
No, it wasn't that high. They got 10 billion from Microsoft at I believe 100 billion market cap.
Wasn't it?
Okay, but
Sam wants to do $1 trillion raise. Sorry, that's what he said he did. Yeah.
No, it's good. What AI is really doing in crypto, right? Because there's the machine learning element, there's this idea of market analysis, maybe sentiment analysis, but we've already been using that for a long time. So is the new concept of AI in crypto, is that just arbitrage? Is there more that we should expect from it?
Yeah. Let's talk about like autonomous agents sitting on the edge of stuff that can, okay, here's a good example. Think of nanobots that can go, that we're designing to go into our body and to sort of repair tissue and different diseases. Imagine a nanobot sitting on the edge of some APIs, where in crypto, let's say you have a bunch of tech companies, middleware companies that all have to plug in, and they're sort of maps of how they send data back and forth change. Imagine these AI agents can just sort of automatically reroute stuff and make sure nothing breaks. Now you're going to have sort of a better trustless web, right? Because things will just work better. So it's not just in trading, of course, and yes, arbitrage and figuring out like what tokens to buy and protecting downside, but it's also like how AI can really help push the industry forward, tying people together, automating things, and ultimately taking a lot of humans out of the equation. And come on, that's why we're in blockchain, is we don't want to have to trust. That's why we're calling it the trustless web, right? Web3. It's not like a new web. It's just a new layer on the internet, which will allow us to do something that you couldn't do on the base layer of the internet. It's just the layer 3 of the internet, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times we think about how AI, or at least I talk about how AI can help avoid a lot of the pitfalls of normal emotional trading, et cetera, by being just objective and completely data driven. Do you see risks there, Fungi, with, at some point people trusting AI too much? Like, I think we're already seeing it just in general use with GPT, but do we think that in the long run it's going to make people less effective traders, or kind of where do you land on that? Do you think that the additional insight will still outweigh the cost?
So just like OpenAI, right? We don't have the money to compete to build, and the infrastructure needed to be able to like have that just incredible. I mean, you guys are using GPT-4o, but it's so mind-blowingly good. I've used it to build my studio. I've retrained my brain to go to it every day. So you're going to kind of see a microcosm of that here in crypto, especially trading. Let's just call it Telegram trading bots. They're doing just Telegram trading bots alone, EVM based, are making $1 billion a year. And so you ask yourself, like, okay, how's that going to look? Whoever has the genie in the bottle, whoever creates the most incredible set of data that can actually make predictions and actually give you an edge, well, you could license that and sell it, but now you've democratized it. Now you don't have the edge. So it's like a race, like anything else. And how good are your AI scientists? How good are your, how much infrastructure do you have? And then are you going to be using OpenAI and tapping into their APIs? Because frankly, the whole having an LLM to be able to speak to it, you're not to be able to train one of those yourself. Like it'd be better. You should be a better prompt engineer and really do think about the types of prompts and the questions you want to ask it. If you have a really good LLM, things like trading strategies and stuff, and you can do that now at GPT and get an edge. It's pretty good. It's not going to tell you like buy this token or whatever, but it's going to kind of give you those trading strategies and sentiment of the macro conditions. But you got to be really good at prompting it. So whoever builds the best tools to be able to give people prompts. And then who cares who's on the back end? But as long as that data is trained well, I think you're going to do well. Plus, you have Telegram, a great place to be able to have a conversation with an LLM and a bot to just be able to buy something. So it's the friction to get in and buy tokens now with memes, of course, is more accessible to everybody. Think of it as like a Robin Hood, right? That's where kind of people are coming in, your consumers, your retail. Those people need to be protected. And they're all in Telegram, or they're using Photon, or they're using, some trading bot. But there's like $1 trillion across all the dexes in volume. So the bots are starting to pick that up from the Uniswaps. The bots are starting to take that away from the Jupiters.
Fungi, where does automation end and artificial intelligence begin?
Well, good question.
I mean, it's an impossible question to answer, but that's kind of like, how do we know when something has moved from simply automation to
sentient? To sentient?
Well, maybe not sentient, because then we're expecting AGI, right? But yes. I mean, even now with what we call artificial intelligence, are we actually employing that? Are we seeing that employed in any way in blockchain currently, or is it still mainly just automation structures that are in play?
Yeah, what I've seen is a lot of automation structures, and let's call it the intelligence portion, right? If you're using GPT, it's as smart as any human at this point in my mind. I go to it all the time. I actually laugh that I have 20 IQ higher points at any given time if it's in my pocket, right? And so I guess the question is, like, we have it now, but then that data set isn't, OpenAI owns that, and they're not training that data set on the crypto. So I think it's just a matter of like how you match that up by taking something like an OpenAI, because you're right, there's not a lot of like that same mind-blowing experience chatting with GPT-4 where like maybe you're in Telegram chatting and you're like, oh my gosh, this is giving me perfect information. So it hasn't lined up, I think, in that yet, JD, but I think that's going to change here. People are starting to train. Some people are doing their own. Some people are using, existing models, Falcon, which is Dubai's open LLM, of course, and Facebook open source all their stuff, and it's really good. Llama is really good.
I want to touch on one topic that you sort of highlighted here, Fungi, which is the human element of using AI. So you were talking about prompt management, that sort of thing. A lot of people are worried that if we're exclusively using AI, everybody's seeing the same data set, everybody's going to take the same actions. So how does that prompt engagement, or how does the human element actually play into using crypto trading?
It's a great so that's the thing. I'll tell entrepreneurs that don't train LLMs. It's so expensive and so much time, and there's ones that exist out there. Get really good at the prompting. And so what that means is, just like everything else, like how many people in your life communicate well? It just comes back to simple human interaction. If you don't communicate well in life, how are you going to be able to prompt an AI to get back what you need? So become a really good prompt engineer is everything. And some of these prompts can be expensive, right? You could have a large prompt that could cost $40 to come back and give you an answer. So it'll be like, how deep do you want to get on the data? But regardless, you need to be a prompt engineer. And I think that just comes down to how good you communicate, how well you explain what you need.
Awesome. Okay, so the TLDR that I'm hearing here is there's AI, there's automation, there's humans. As we continue to figure out ways to use data sets differently, the AI will continue to grow in crypto?
Oh, in a big way. The two are merging. We can't stop it. It's probably one of the best narratives right now, like liquid staking, right? You've got DPIN, AI, these are some of the really big narratives. But when they say AI, kind of to your point, it's like such a big term, and what does it mean exactly? And is it automation versus like true intelligence?
So just quickly, as we kind of move on, one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up today is because the actual news and the actual like existence of meaningful AI and blockchain has been beyond underwhelming. And for some of the reasons I've said, where is automation end and AI begin? But given the amount of money that has flown into venture for AI, I get the hardware costs of these big language model developers, et cetera, but in the blockchain, there's people that have been raising exorbitant amounts of money on, promises of AI. I guess, what would be your words of caution, Fungi, just to sum up here? What are some of the things that we need to see happen before AI really proliferates and a lot of these technologies advance?
Well, the people that are using it now are going to take out everybody else. You saw the liquidity get sucked up from venture, like 30% shift to AI companies. You saw a bunch of really good SaaS companies getting hit on valuations because of AI coming in, whether they can't build fast enough or somebody can just build something simple and eat their lunch. So I think if you're not using AI today, certainly just as a human, training yourself to go to GPT-4 every day, you're already behind as a human. We're going to see the first 30% of the creative class lose their jobs, doctors, lawyers, or at least have to use AI in their practices as a law. And I think you're going to get your lunch eaten if you don't start building and using AI in your company to go faster. You should use this as an opportunity to say, fuck a lot of employees. It's an ego thing. Keep it small, keep it scalable. Make your 10x dev 30x. Make your 2x COO a 10x COO. Let them run 2 to 3 departments and scale with 12 people and have a multi-billion-dollar company like Instagram, like WhatsApp. You can do that now with AI.
Yeah, I want to high five you for saying that.
What'd you say?
I want to high five you for saying that. A lot of companies are still really against, not so much in the Web3 space, but a lot of companies are still really against using AI, right, to like maintain that human element. And I think there's a lack of understanding of how useful it can be and how much time it can free up for the human element.
Well, a lot of people are talking about, this has kind of been, I've seen this on X, this isn't my own idea, but a lot of people are talking about, we're going to lose so many jobs, yada, yada. I mean, the Industrial Revolution happened and all we saw was a shift in type of employment, not necessarily in employment numbers in general. And so there's a few arguments, and depends how far down the conspiracy theory road you want to go, but there's a few arguments that our GDP and productivity as a country, instead of thinking that we're going to lay off a third of the workforce, what if we tripled our effectiveness or efficiency? What if we quadrupled our GDP because every person was supercharged with access to the world's data? Effectively, that's what that is. And so, I mean, we could get rid of our debt problems. We can do a lot of tax reduction and all of these things if we nail this, and if we get to a point of, in fact, greater efficiency, was I think why I'm so excited. Okay, we've only got a few minutes left.
I got something to say if you don't mind on that. Because I just like, this is a philosophical thing, and I think it's really important for people to understand that you're right. We're going to get these incredible productivity gains. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. We're going to have to figure out some form of what they call UBI, or universal basic income. I see an opportunity for action-based income with blockchain, where for the first time ever, you can participate in a network, a protocol. You can be a holder, and you can help promote that. And that is a way that you're moving that forward. And people are incentivized because they're bag holders. So you can, why not? It's a perfect way to distribute money. Why not give people action-based income based upon actions they're taking on your network to earn money? Because if you go back to humans, we want purpose. Like if you're out of a job and you're sitting there and it's going to make you feel bad. You want to do something. So like you said, JD, what if you're using, you're still be able to do stuff, but you're not just getting something for free. You know what I mean? And I think that's maybe a beautiful thing that we have here with blockchain.
Purpose, belonging, retro funding. Okay, I just want to touch on the news really quickly, and we don't have to spend too long on the news today. We don't actually have to go through article by article, but the whole point of this is that I compiled news from early 2023 until now, and it's all the same news. People love AI. AI is transforming crypto. AI is transforming bots in crypto. AI revolutionizes crypto trading with enhanced capabilities. We've already talked about some of those capabilities. We've already kind of gone in depth there, but I want to, in the nature of Go FUD Yourself, I want to say, look at all this hype and how it hasn't changed in the last few years.
People like buzzwords. People like narratives, and they clog on to it. And they go AI, and they're like, it's on Twitter, and they're all of a sudden influencing AI. And it's like, what? It's the way it go.
So, like, this is just where I struggle with all of this. Like, I feel like, of course, it's headlines, and of course, we're trying to build hype and narrative and so on. But most of this stuff, it could transform crypto, but it hasn't yet. And is it AI, Fungi? Kind of final thoughts on that. Have we seen actual AI at all in crypto yet? Or should we be excited that the real AI is still yet to come?
No, we should be excited it's yet to come. There are people experimenting on it, especially with, using AI to, let's say, real world assets and being able to sort of do like automated portfolio rebalancing across chain, making sure that the settlements are correct and sort of, managing all that. There's another use case that I heard with a major top 5 CPA firm that wants to use AI to do sort of automatic payments for like accounts receivable, accounts payable. And they're working on these things. So there is stuff happening. But again, there's a cost prohibitiveness of, do you train your own LM? Do you become really good at prompt engineering and spend a bunch of money at OpenAI? Do you give all your data away to OpenAI because you're going to be, trying to upload a bunch of stuff and ask it questions? So these are the things that, like, I think there's just a cost issue, but we see the cost coming down, JD, and I think that's what it is, right? It's a cost that continues to come down and make it more affordable for everybody, like any other technology ever.
Amazing.
Perfect.
Okay. That was your run through of crypto AI. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Fungi, for joining us on a Frens episode.
But with Frens, it's always a blast, brother. Appreciate having you. I wish we could have double clicked for, another 30 minutes with you. Maybe we'll do another episode. We'll do a follow-up episode with a little bit more info in the next little bit. For everybody that's watching, every Monday we do a weekly news show, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. It's on our Twitters and on YouTube. And of course, every second Friday we do FUD with Frens. If you have ideas for the next FUD with Frens topic, please let us know. We're just looking to bring on some of the brightest and most innovative people for those topics, and we'll continue to do that. So like, share, subscribe, press the bell, make sure you can find us and know when we're going live again. And with that, I say to you guys, today and every day, go FUD yourself.
Go FUD yourself. With that, I have to say, go FUD yourself.
Go FUD yourself.
Go FUD yourself.
Go FUD yourself.
Go FUD yourself. Go FUD yourself.